benefits such as educational resources. This is a program that every woman newly diagnosed with breast cancer needs to take advantage of. And at this point, I would like to now invite my colleague Elizabeth to take on the icebreakers.
Thank you very much, Modupe. Good evening, everyone, once again. To start the icebreaker session, we'd just like you to get your perspective and then we want you to give your thoughts. You can just type in your answers on the chat box. So the first question is, are there certain foods you believe people should avoid during breast cancer treatment? You can give yes and then just list the types of food. You can give no, and if you're unsure, you can just type unsure. So I'll be giving 1 minute for everyone to just give in their thoughts in the chat box. Okay, thank you, K. Yes, okay. Are there any other thoughts? Are there certain foods you believe people should avoid during breast cancer treatment? Thank you, Miracle. Yes. And can you just state the types of food you believe if you agree? You can just list one or two. Soda, processed food, food that have high sugar content. Thank you very much. Okay, so I would be moving to the next question. Do you think the food we eat can help reduce the risk of breast cancer? I'll give 1 minute to also type in your answers in the chat box. Do you think the food we eat can help reduce the risk of breast cancer? This is a yes or no answer. Okay, Miracle gave sausage, bacon. Okay, that's for question number one. Yes, okay. We like others to also join in these questions. This icebreaker question is only two people that are answering. I encourage everyone to respond. Okay, 30 seconds more before we move on. Okay, thank you, Abigail. Yes, okay. Thank you, Jessica. Okay, thank you, everyone. I'll be handing over to Ebuka now. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. So we'll now be introducing our speaker, Dietitian Charles Chinemerem Ogukpe. He's a registered dietitian nutritionist with over 10 years of experience in clinical and community nutrition. He's registered with the Health and Care Professions Council and is also a member of the Dietitians Association of Nigeria, serving as the Public Relations Officer for the Lagos State Chapter. He focuses on using evidence-based nutrition to improve the lives of his patients, especially those with cancer, and advocates for public nutrition awareness. He is also a mentor dedicated to making nutrition science practical and accessible. Please welcome our speaker for the Brand webinar, Dietitian Charles. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Modube. I feel really honored. Thank you for such an opportunity to um, talk about the role of nutrition in cancer management. Actually, this is a topic that I believe that a lot of people will be interested in because once cancer happens or once one is diagnosed of cancer, a lot of question begins to go through your mind, what to do, what to eat, what not to do, a whole lot of all that happening. But tonight we'll be focusing more on the role of nutrition. What is the connection between nutrition and cancer? Like we said, eat well, fight strong. My objectives are very simple. One is to review the role of nutrition during cancer treatment process and why it matters. Why does it really matter? Is nutrition that important? Two is to review ways to optimize your nutrition when treatment-related side effects impacts, begins to happen. So first, I'd like us to look at what is cancer. You know, a lot of times we hear this cancer of that, cancer of that. What is cancer? In simple terms, you could say cancer is an abnormal growth of the cell, or you could say gene mutation that happens, and it happens as a result of different factors. So in our introduction, says cancer is a global health challenge affecting millions of people all over the world. And then when you look at the prevalence of cancer in Nigeria, you will see that about 79,542 deaths are attached to cancer, and this happens annually. And according to World Health Organization, cancer is one of the leading causes of death worldwide, with lifestyle factors, including diet, playing a significant role in prevention and in management. Here you see that nutrition role is not just about in the treatment, it also plays a role in prevention. That is, there are things you need to eat that will avoid you or that will prevent you rather getting exposed to cancer or actually having cancer. If you eat right, you could prevent cancer from occurring in your body. But if you eat in a certain way, eat certain kind of food, it will also, uh, we call it a catalyst. It will also speeding up the chemical reaction of cancer happening. However, there are risk factors to this. There are risk factors. Hold on here. There are risk factors to this. No, go back. There are risk factors to these cancers happening. But what I want to show here is a typical example of a cancerous cell as against normal cell. So when cancer occurs in your body, this is exactly what happens. If someone can quickly type on the chat room, if you can see this cell, just tell me what you can see. Two things you can see. Look at the diagram in 1 minute or 1 second. If you can tell me what do you see on the chat room? Okay. Uh, so when you look at this cell, you see that there's a normal cell and there is a cancer cell. Okay. Someone is saying something. Let me take a look. Normal cell and cancerous cell. That's correct. Normal cell and cancerous cell. So what do you see? What differentiates these two? What can you see? What are the difference? Or what do you think makes, okay, great. I can see cancer cell is in middle blue. That is correct. So, back. But the difference is simple. The cell, the red part is the normal cell, and you see that it goes in pattern. Okay, it goes in pattern. It's not scattered. It has a pattern, and it grows in order. But the cancerous cell grows rapidly. It's out of place, out of order. So this also tells us that when we have cancer cells in our system, it could spread to different parts of the body. Now, what causes cancer? There are risk factors to cancer. The risk factors they are simple: tobacco use, physical inactivity, living a sedentary life, not moving about. We have alcohol consumption, obesity. Surprisingly to some people, you might not know that obesity can also lead to cancer. Infections, when we talk about infections, there are infections like Helicobacter bacteria, that's H. pylori, for people that have ulcer. When untreated, a lot of times stays in the body, can cause cancer. Um, Also, we have hepatitis B, if left untreated, can also lead to cancer and other viral infections also. Now you see radiation, ultraviolet radiation, excessive exposure to sun, and all of these can also cause cancer. Inherited gene, this is the reason why when clocking a patient, we want to ask them, what is your family history? Does your mom, your grandmother, someone has any of them been diagnosed of cancer before? This gives us a clear understanding of how to start. Certain medication also can lead to cancer. But sitting on top of all of this is tobacco use. Tobacco use can lead to a lot of cancer of the lungs, of the, cervix, different form of cancer because you are smoking and is affecting different part of your body. Even the kidney can be affected as well. Next. Now, let's come down to business. What is the relationship between cancer and nutrition? The truth is, cancer cells have very high metabolic rate, okay? And this increases nutrition demand in our body. Secondly, all the treatment modalities to treat cancer, call it chemotherapy, radiotherapy, all of these things are targeted towards the cancer cell. And it also affects the normal cell, which means that, look, part of the normal cell is being damaged. But the good news is that the normal cells have the ability to recreate, regenerate itself when enough nutrition is supplied to the body. Just look at the research. Research says that 19% of cancer is nutrition related. It's as a result of poor diets. It means that people who have poor food choices are at risk of having cancer. When we make poor food choices, we'll talk about it in the letter. Excessive body weight, like we said before, obesity can also, you know, uh, make one to be vulnerable to cancer at the long run because excessive fat in the body can affect your pancreas, your colon, even your liver. So when we talk about cases of having extra cholesterol in the body, which blocks the blood vessel, when that happens, that is fat blocking the flow of blood. Over time, this could lead to stroke, it could lead to heart attack, and the rest of them. So that is to say that obesity is a big risk to developing cancer. Alcohol, we've said that already, is linked to cancer. High consumption of processed food. Someone replied in the chat that processed meats and food are some of the things that could uh, cause cancer. So, consumption of processed meat, we'll also talk about that in the letter, and food preserved with salt, not just salt, other preservatives can also be associated with cancer. Next, what is the goal of nutrition during cancer treatment? It's very simple. Like I said, because of the treatment methods, once one starts to treat cancer, either you're using chemotherapy or radiotherapy, it means that there is high rate of metabolic process going on in your body. You see people begin to lose weight. You see people begin to feel in a certain way. People begin to have side effects, which they might not be comfortable with. Now, what we want to use nutrition to do, it's simple. One is to promote optimal nutrition. We want to ensure that the person eats a balanced, adequate diet that will help the body to be strong enough to withstand the treatment. We want the person to eat adequately. When we mean adequately, we means you have to eat a food that comprises the six classes of food, of nutrients rather. That is the carbohydrate, the protein, the fats, the vitamins and minerals, dietary fiber, and water. None of them should be missing in your meal at any point in time. I hear stories of people saying, oh, because I have cancer, no more carbohydrate, no sugar. We will still talk about that. Secondly, we want to maintain your nutritional health. When we say nutritional health, there are modalities to check for your nutritional health. The most simplest of way is your BMI. I'm sure everyone on this call might know what BMI means. That's body mass index. When you do a scale of your BMI, you will find out if you're within range, normal, or you are overweight or obese. What we advise patients or people to do is to maintain an adequate weight. What we mean by that is that you need to fall within the BMI range, which is from 19.5, say 20, 25, 24.5, you are normal. Above that, you are overweight, and then obesity, first degree, second degree, that happens. So we want to maintain your weight, ensuring that you do not lose too much and you do not gain too much during treatment. So thirdly, we want to prevent and manage eating problems. There are a lot of eating problems that occur during cancer treatment. When you talk of side effects, you see people complain of metallic tests, sore mouths. Uh, when this happens at times, they find it difficult to swallow, to chew, and all of that. And it's going to affect the amount of food they take or the amount of nutrients that goes into their body. People also have what we call anorexia nervosa, which is an emotional form of eating because they concentrate more on the pains they are going through. They concentrate more on maybe some persons will talk about finance. Where do I get money to, take care of my treatment? They are more concentrated on worries, and this affects their mood and the way they eat. You find out that such people will not be getting as much nutrient, as much calorie as needed. Next. Now, the big question is, all of this being said, what should I eat? Okay, I've established this before that cancer and cancer treatment can make eating more difficult. It's very simple. Thinking, worrying that prevent you from eating. Now, when you start treatment, side effects will occur. We have side effects like constipation, diarrhea, nausea, mouth sore. All of this thing begins to happen to someone who is going through treatment. It is because of the process and the method of treatment that is happening. Remember, these methodologies of treatment pattern are being targeted towards the cancerous cell. However, they affect the normal cell. Okay, so and I use the word harsh. Is a bit harsh on the human body. So it requires more nutrients for you to be able to cope. Secondly, nutrient requirements increases during treatment. I've said this before. What to eat is very simple. A combination of good nutrients. What are the good nutrients? One, fruits and vegetables. When you look at that picture, you see the lady there is thinking, am I going to eat these vegetables? What would they do for me? Or why don't I go ahead and eat my cake or my pastry and all of that? Fruit and vegetable is good at this point for what it gives. Fruit and vegetables are plant-based and they contain what we call phytonutrients. Phytonutrients are nutrients like beta-carotene, flavonoid. These are nutrients that have anti-cancer properties. So they help to fight cancer even within. They help to ensure that there's no inflammation. They help to, ensure that the cancer does not continue to grow in your body. So they are helping fighting from inside. They also contain great vitamins and minerals that you need at this time that could also help you manage those side effects. For example, vitamin C. For one who has sore mouth or, and all of that cannot eat, vitamin C is going to be there to help. There are B vitamins also, which you get from green vegetables. So much that you can get from fruits and vegetables. They also contain antioxidants. These antioxidants takes care of free radicals. Free radicals are the things that causes diseases and sicknesses in our body. And most importantly, we need to understand that during this cancer treatment, there might be decreased immunity. Your body becomes weak. the ability to fight becomes very low. So what you need at that time are things that will build your immunity. If you want to build your immunity, vitamins are very key. They will help you build your immunity for you to be strong, to resist the treatment as well as some of the side effects. Secondly, lean protein. Protein is a master nutrient when it comes to managing cancer. Yeah, protein plays a very vital. Remember, some of the treatment patterns like chemo or radio will, affect the cells. Some of the cells will die off. It needs to regenerate and grow. And protein is called building blocks of life. So protein helps to replace the worn out tissues that have gone up and to grow. A lot of times people say, look, my hairs are pulling off, all of those are happening to me. You need a lot of protein for you to get them back. So protein is a giant nutrient for a cancer patient. And these proteins can be gotten. There is not something that is far-fetched. And other slide, I'll talk about some of the sources of this food so that you see that it's very easy to get. It's not something you will climb the mountains, it's within us. Then healthy fats. Well, we'll talk about healthy fats. We need to understand that during treatment also, people experience things like fatigue. People are tired, people are dizzy, and all of we need energy. So fat is not left out. We have healthy fats like the avocados, you have your olive oil, you have your nuts. These are fats that also help in body metabolism. So these fats help you to stay strong. They also provide the calorie that you need to continue to maintain your weight and to stay strong during this fight. And lastly, whole grains. Now, a lot of persons have concern with sugar and carbohydrates. What I tell them, sugar is not your problem. The problem is to choose the right carbohydrate because when we talk of sugar, we're actually talking about carbohydrate, which is one of the nutrients that is needed. Carbohydrate is needed in all cells in the body, is needed for thinking, is needed for walking, is needed for you to stay alive, is needed. You need sugar, in fact. So what happens is that you need to choose the right one that will help you during this journey. What does whole grain contain? Whole grain contains antioxidants. Okay? They contain antioxidant that helps to fight free radicals. They also stop inflammation that could happen during cancer. Whole grain also provides you with energy. These whole grains are simple. There are things around you. You have your oats, you have your rice, your local rice particularly, or your basmati, and all. You have your millets, you have your corn, and a whole lot of them. So one, two, three, four. These are the major food that a cancer patient who is going through treatment or newly diagnosed or have even been treated needs to go on. These are the diets that you need to focus on. Because a lot of times you see people after treatment, they might have regrow. Say someone have left cancer breast, over time you see it happening on the right. So you need to be consistent. In fact, you need to eat like this for the rest of your life so that you remain healthy. And according to American Association, this is the actual plate for healthy eating. Next. Great. So I talked about protein before that protein is the giant nutrient for a cancer patient. What it does is very simple. I've explained before, builds your immunity, strong immunity, growth for the repairs, but because you're going to be losing some part of your, like hair and all of that, there needs to be a repair and it comes from protein. Most importantly, also, protein prevents muscle breakdown because it contains the amino acid that will help to build your muscles. So protein helps to build muscle mass. When you look at someone who is losing weight, first thing you see or notice rather is that the person begins to lose muscle mass. So protein is key. And the recommended amount of protein per body for body weight a kg is 1 to 1.5 gram per kg of body weight. Then sources of protein, good protein I talk about. There are different types of protein source, but the good ones particularly I recommend will be your meat. When I talk about meat, I do not mean your red meat. We talk about meat, we're talking about chicken, we're talking about turkey, talking about your fish, all sorts of fish that is very rich in omega-3, omega-6 fatty acids, have good oil. Poultry, your egg is also very good at this point. These are for people, I also recommend that they take up to 1 to 4 eggs in a week. It helps. Milk, except you have or you're lactose sensitive, I will also recommend milk and milk products. These are things to help nuts and seed, fish, tofu, soya bean. These are food sources that are just within us. You don't have to climb mountains to get them. They are as cheap as it might be. One might say the economy is not so favorable, but look, the truth is that we can all provide these things within our range. If you can buy, you can begin to rear. That way you should be able to have it next. So how many calories do I need in a day? Calorie for some persons is the problem. I've been asked, some will say, I've been asked not to put added sugar, this, that. What do I do? Each calorie you need, what you need is from 25 to 35 calories per kg of your body. And this will help you maintain your weight. Remember what I said, during cancer treatment, there's bound to be weight loss. We call it unintended weight loss. You don't expect to lose weight, but you find out that 5 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks down the line, you've lost 10 kg. Is expected to happen. What is the role of nutrition? You need to continue to eat. You need to add calories. You need to eat food that provides good calories to you. For example, I saw a patient today and look, I found out the patient has lost 7 kg already. What I said to the patient after reviewing to find out what the problem was, I said, okay, look, you do not have to eat 3 square meals a day. You need to increase to five small meals. That way you will be able to build, you'll be able to eat enough as required. The normal recommended calorie for the day would be between 2,000 to 2,800 kilocalories. And all of this is dependent on your BMI. So high calorie food, you have your whole milk, cheese, yogurt, ice cream, seed, butter, avocado, and the rest of them. Next, these are high calorie food. These food sources will give you calorie that you need. Importantly, also fluid. We can't rule out fluid in this. Remember, when you're going through chemo or radio or any other method you're using to treat cancer, you need to be hydrated. Very, very important. It helps the process, it helps the healing process. So, water should be an essential thing. What I ask people to do is at this point, you understand that you don't have to engage in soda anymore. You don't have to engage in carbonated drinks. Of course, those are the added sugars we're talking about. You need to make water your friend. Advise people to always have water in their hand at your shop, at your workplace, in your car, wherever you are. Ensure that there is water. You need to drink enough. Then, for people that find eating difficult, you can also blend your food. This is another way to go. You can blend your food to turn it into smoothie, into milkshake, and a whole lot of. So you need to drink not just water, you need to also drink calorie. So when you're drinking water, you're tired of water, you're bored of water, for you to meet up and you think eating is a bit difficult, you can't meet up, blend your food and eat. Then for people that have GI issues, then we recommend enteral feeding for them. People that cannot feed from their mouths, we recommend that, we can feast pipe, that will be in hospital settings, or feast pipe that you can eat through your stomach and the food will be provided. So choose fluid with calories and protein. And most importantly, ensure you incorporate protein in everything you eat. This is one thing you shouldn't forget. Next. Okay, other nutrients, I cannot overemphasize the importance of vitamins and minerals in this journey. Vitamins and minerals helps you strongly in metabolism, you know, and you have to get them from your fruit and vegetables. These are things you make your friend. What I advise patients is to incorporate vegetables and fruit at every point in time they eat. These things are simple, they're not rocket science. Let's take, for example, you're eating your jollof rice. You look around you, there's no vegetable. You have your rice, you have your meat. You, of course, know that the meal is not complete. What you need to do is look for cucumber, look for carrot or something, slice into it. Now you're also getting your vitamins and minerals. So it needs to be at every point in time when you eat. Remember what it does. It provides you with the phytochemicals, provides you with antioxidants, provides you with vitamins and minerals that will help your immunity to be strong, that will also help you fight off cancer in general. Then about multivitamins and supplements. I will always advise that before you go on supplements, you need to consult your doctors. You need to consult your medical officer, consult your oncologist, and even your dietitian before you go on any supplement. Do not go on supplement because your friends ask you to or someone asks you to. Human bodies react differently to treatment. So what work for Mr. Konkwo cannot work for Mr. Shego. So understand that. Next, please. Trying to round up because of my time. So strategies to maintain intake. Perhaps eating is very difficult for you. There are simple things you can do to eat right, eat the right kind of food, and also maintain your health. One is to stock your pantry and freezer with your favorite food. Your favorite food, I mean here, are the healthy foods that we've talked about. Remember, whole grain, lean protein, fruit and vegetables, and healthy fats. These are the favorite food I'm talking about. Cook your food in advance and freeze in small portions. Get small portions, put your food and put in freezer. There's nothing wrong with, having to store your food in the freezer, bring it out uh, and rewarm, or however, it will still look fresh. Okay. Then have family member. This is also very important. You see, a lot of people are not comfortable with talking about their health conditions. So we said have family members or friends help with shopping. When you have someone who understands what you're going through, who knows your diagnosis, go for shopping for you or cook for you, person is going to be very careful in the method of preparation, what he or she is using to prepare your food, because you need to be very careful about spices, about food preparation, and the rest of them. So family members and friends are your call to go. Okay, but this will be in a case where perhaps the person is now weak, you don't want to move around, so you need someone to help you do that. But I would prefer that you choose your food yourself, cook your food yourself if possible. Consider prepared food or meal delivery services. I'm not talking about those fancy restaurant or whatever out there. You need to look for meal delivery services that you're very sure of how they prepare their food and the ingredients. Next, please. I think I'm running behind time. So other strategies continue. Like I said, try small meals. Instead of eating 3 square meal, you see you're losing as much weight. You've lost 10 kg, 5 kg, you're losing. Look, it's not going to stop. Because at some point, when you're going through chemo, for example, and certain drugs you're taking might result to watery stool and you stooling all the time, diarrhea might occur. And the easiest way to lose weight is either vomiting or diarrhea. I'm sure everybody on this call can understand that one. When it happens to you 2, 3 days, you're going to lose as much as 3 to 5 kg. So for you to get these weights back, you need to try small meals at a time. Increase your 3 square to 5 square. Snack as needed. Eat frequently, and then portion your food. Portion control is very key. Pay attention to your food. 8 to 10 cups in a day. It's not so hard. So this 8 to 10 cups is not just limited to water. Remember, you can drink your food, make it into smoothie and all. High calorie food is also needed. High protein beverages like smoothies, milkshake, a short drink, and the rest of them. Pay attention to added sugar. They need to be avoided. Next. Now, side effects. We need to prepare you that Look, if you're going through cancer treatment for the first time, okay, if you're going through cancer treatment for the first time, you need to prepare your mind that there's going to be side effects that will happen during the journey. What I will advise you to do is simple. You need to talk to your healthcare team. Now, your healthcare team comprises of different persons, different professionals. You have your oncologist, you have your house officer, you have your dietitian, you have your nurse. Don't keep the side effects to yourself. Always call, always reach out. And luckily for brands and Pearl Ecology, we have an online, app where you can actually reach out to your healthcare team without seeing them in person. You just need to lodge in your side effect, and someone will attend to you within 24 hours. Next slide, please. So these are simple tips on how to eat healthy, eat a variety of food, include protein in all your meals. This is very important. Include protein. Remember what we said protein does. The building blocks of life. It helps you to build your body mass. Next slide, please. Another tip, very simple, limit alcohol intake. Alcohol intake, remember alcohol and tobacco sits on top of the risk factors. Maintain healthy body weight. Like we said, your BMI is your check to go. Always check your BMI. Then engage in regular physical exercise. This is for everyone actually, except for those who are hospitalized. But if you are still healthy, you are going to walk, you are doing other things, physical exercise is still very important at this point. Next slide. And thank you so much for listening. I know you all have a lot of questions on your mind. I'll just be here to answer you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Dietitian Charles, for that amazing talk that you just gave us on the role of nutrition in breast cancer management. I would like to use this opportunity to say that if we have any questions, let us please put it in the chat so that our dietitian can respond to it. I know there was sometimes thinking, what can we eat? Is this the right thing? So this is the time where you get to ask those questions if you don't already have those answers after listening to him. Okay, dietitian Charles, we have one question that has come in, which is what can I do to my sugar level as it is becoming high?
Good. Thank you for that question. So, when you say it's becoming high, it's important we know the numbers. So there are people who are pre-diabetic and those who are diabetic already. But however it is, if you are pre-diabetic or diabetic, what we advise is first you need to reduce your sugar intake. What we mean by sugar intake is carbohydrate intake, but you need to focus on carbohydrate that have low glycemic index. So this carbohydrate that have low glycemic index will not shoot up your sugar level as others should. Secondly, you need to incorporate vegetables and fruit in all of your meals. These have a way of controlling the amount of sugar or glucose that goes into your system. It is very key. And then lifestyle modification. So I tell people that diabetes is a disease of lifestyle. You look at how much you use your body. Are you doing engage in excessive alcohol intake? Do you smoke? Do you drink? Or perhaps it's a gene thing. It's in your family. So if it's in your family, you need to begin to cut down carbohydrates, incorporate fruit and vegetables, whole grain diets, lean protein. All of these diets, as mentioned for cancer patients, are what you're going to go on. So that way you will also see that your sugar will drop. Most importantly, also, your time of feeding is very important. A lot of times people load their body with a lot of food, especially those with high glycemic load. At night, they eat very late at night, and in the morning, when you check your blood sugar, you see that it's very up. So it's important that you know that timing for feeding is very important, and what you eat last to bed is also key. So vegetables in all your food will help you a whole lot. I don't know if I answered you.
Thank you so much, Dietitian Charles, for that wonderful session and for answering that question. I believe that question has been answered thoroughly. We have more questions coming in, and like we are in the Q&A session, please keep your answer and your questions coming in. We'll try as much as possible to answer as much questions as possible. So thank you so much, Dietitian, again for answering that first question. The second question said, what type of vitamins are to be taken?
Get that? What type of vitamins are to be
What
taken?
at yes, that's during treatment, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, what kind of vitamins should the patient take?
Fantastic. So, but before I answer this, just on the DM question, I will also advise that you check in with your doctors to, assess and ensure that maybe it's time for you to start taking medications for your blood sugar level. Then to answer these, vitamins to take during cancer treatment are so many. We're talking about vitamin D, we're talking about vitamin C, we're talking about vitamin B12, and all of those things. But you need to consult with your oncologists or the doctors alongside if it is supplement. But getting it from food, it has to be natural. Let's understand that a lot of times people come up with questions about their blood count during treatment. You need to understand that chemotherapy, for example, is going to affect that bone marrow. This is where the blood is being produced. So when it affects it, you need to eat foods that are high in iron. So iron also is very key. It's part of the nutrient you will need. About your vitamin A, key, vitamin C, D, and a whole lot of B vitamins. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, I think that's very clear on the vitamins to be taken. But just to be clear, the more, well, in what form should these vitamins be taken? Are they tablets or in food? And what source of food, like um, classes of food should we look more into?
Great. So I wouldn't advise people to get these vitamins more from food
Okay,
because it's in their natural form. So when
okay,
you get it from food, yes, the body is able to synthesize it easily than in supplements. Now, when we
mm,
talk of food, we talk of fruits. Let's say, for example, fruits. You have your bananas, you have your oranges, you have your watermelon, and the rest of them. These are very high in vitamin C, which
mm,
you need to build your immunity, right? Now you
yeah,
also have, yeah, when you take a lot of protein, you are getting your vitamin D, calcium, and the rest of them. These are also key vitamins that are needed at this point. Then the B vitamins more, especially in your fruit and vegetables as well. So in your green leafy vegetables, you would have a whole lot of them. So it's advisable to get it more in food than in supplement. If you must take supplement at any point, you need to consult your
doctor.
doctors. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much for answering that question. I believe it's well understood now. Thank you, sir. So we'll go on to the next question. This person is saying, thank you very much. Are there other oils available that we can use apart from olive oil because of the cost?
Yes. So this is one of the concerns we see when we'll advise patient. Olive oil is the most preferred, but very expensive. I still do believe that there are colonna oils, there are other oil, so long as it's branded oil and is affordable. What we preach more is a moderation. Um, if you use oils that are be certified good and does not congeal at room temperature, and you put very little in your food, there is no harm in that. If you cannot avoid olive oil, you can try other branded oil. I'm not at liberty to advertise anyone, by the way.
Okay, that's well understood, sir. And I think that clarifies the notion of it's only olive oil that a cancer patient can use. So thank you, sir. So the next question here says, is it okay for me to take natural tea like soursop leaf as I undergo the treatment?
Beautiful. Time did not permit me. I mean, there was a lot of things I would have also recommended for cancer patients. Shell tea have been proven to be a very good nutrition or good nutrient for a cancer patient. Not just Celsius tea, there are other healthy herbs that you can take. You can take turmeric, uh, you can take moringa seed, you can take your ginger, you can take your garlic. All of these things are packed with antioxidants. Some of them are packed with phytonutrients that will help healing and fight cancer from inside. So go ahead and take your short tea.
All right, thank you so much, Dietitian Charles. Thank you for that. We have five more questions, and is six questions being my own personal question that I want to ask. So, because this session has been quite insightful, so we have five more questions to go. Six more questions to go through. So, the first is says, can processed foods contribute to cancer? Processed foods.
Great. Thank you for that question. It was part of my slide, but due to time, we had to, cut down on some things. Processed food is one of the enemy. To be honest with you, when we talk of processed food, these are food that have gone through industrial processes. There are some additives that have been added to this food. When we talk of added sugar that I was talking about earlier, this is where it plays a major role. Okay, when you add say salt, a lot of salt, a lot of spices, a lot of sugars to food for maybe purpose of for commercial purposes to make it appealing to people. These are the added sugars I'm talking about that would affect one's health, and these are enemies for cancer treatment. If you are going to cancer treatment, these are the things you should stay away from because it's actually the enemy. When we talk of poor diet, processed food is the enemy. So please stay away from processed food and eat more of natural food. Organic food is what we advise that people go on.
Right, thank you so much, sir. I believe the message is clear. Stay away from processed food. This is not just for cancer patients alone. I believe Mr. Charles is speaking to everyone. So stay away from processed foods. Thank you, sir. The next question says, please, what will you say about the popular saying of not consuming sugar in cancer patients? And that saying of cancer cells, and that saying that cancer cells are fed by sugar. Do you understand the question, sir?
I actually do understand. This is a
Okay.
common saying, I
Okay.
hear this a lot everywhere. People say cancer, sugar feeds cancer, right?
Yeah. Yes.
This is what we need to understand. Sugar is not a problem. So when I talk about sugar, I talk about carbohydrates. So
Mm,
carbohydrate is not the problem. The problem is added sugar.
mm,
Now, the normal cell receives sugar, converts to glucose and uses. Same thing with cancer cell. They also receive glucose and use. But the difference is this. Now, due to the rapid growth of cancer cells, you will see that it's going to attract more sugar. It's going to call for more sugar than the normal cell. So sugar does not actually feed cancer, but added sugar does. So the natural sugar that comes from our food, that comes from fruits, is not a problem. That comes from your whole grain is not a problem. But the problem is the ones that you add to your pastries, the one that is in soda and a whole lot of them. So sugar does not feed cancer. Okay? The sugars that should be of worry, the ones that come from your ice cream, your cake, and all of those things. So please, sugar does not feed cancer. Thank you.
Okay, sorry, Mr. Charles, I would love to ask this funny question. What about for someone that loves, the sugary foods? Will you say that one should avoid it entirely, or is there a moderation that can be done, or should we just avoid it entirely?
Okay. Thank you. I think this still revolves around what I was saying. So
Okay.
moderation is the key to everything in life, okay? Just
Yeah.
like people that are hypertensive, that are diabetic and all, they come up with all sort of questions. I've been asked not to eat that, eat that. But that is not the truth. The truth
Mm,
is that you have to eat everything in moderation. So
okay.
sugars that come from fruits are natural sugar. They are not added sugar. So if you get the point I'm trying to make, I'm saying natural sugars, natural carbohydrates are healthy. The body cells need them to function. So whether
Okay.
the fruits, your banana, your oranges and all of those are sweet ones, they are good and healthy.
Healthy sugar. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, sir. So the next question is it safe for a cancer patient to take folic acid? Is it safe for a cancer patient to take folic acid? Yeah.
Oh, great. So I would say for these, I would ask if the person is a patient, I will also ask the person to review this with their oncologist or their
Healthcare
um, medical
providers.
officer. Yes, so that so that they can give more clarity to whether they have to take. Of course, we all know that folic acid is very good, both for the purpose of their treatment process. They have a better understanding for to advise when to take folic acid. So I'll ask them to consult their healthcare professionals to get clarity on that. But as a dietitian, you can get all of those nutrients from food as well.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So because of our time, I'll be lumping the remaining questions together. And it goes like this. Can we eat cassava? That's something like abacha, that's e.g. abacha. And can we use potash to cook? And is it okay to take milk and top tea? So I believe this person is looking for clarity. Maybe they've had one or two things about this particular food item. So sir, please can you shed more light to this food items in
Okay,
just a
great.
few?
So yeah,
Yeah.
if I remember oats, so can we take cassava and abacha and all of that?
Yeah.
So a lot of cancer patients come up with multiple health conditions. We say comorbidities. You see, someone has cancer at the same time is diabetic, at the same time has hypertension, at the same time high cholesterol, and all of this happening. So
Mm-hmm.
that you know also that most of the cancer patients I have seen, most of them have hypertension. And we could trace this to a couple of factors. So for someone who is coming up with diabetes or hypertension or obesity, I would never advise you to take abacha and what's the called abacha, because abacha is a food that is made from cassava, right? And then you have palm oil and all of that. So there's a lot of fat there. First thing is that it's not a healthy fat. Okay. Remember, we said obesity is one of the risk factors. It's not a healthy fat. So you're
Yeah.
taking a lot of carbohydrate and you're putting on healthy fat. So it is not healthy. To answer that, what's the other question?
Okay, can we use potash to cook? And is it okay to
No,
take and
no,
okay,
no, no, no. To
potash?
use
Okay.
potash to cook, you will look at the chemical combination of potash. It is also very unhealthy. These are some of the practices people go into that we are against.
Mm-hmm.
These things begins to, yes, affect some of our tissues and even organs over time. So
Okay.
potash, no.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Or what about can we take milk and top tea?
Top tea, I do not understand what top tea is. Is it Lipton?
It's yeah, it's a form of it's another brand of Lipton, kind of.
Okay, provided the person is healthy, but like I said, most people that have cancer have other health conditions. Most, in fact, 8 out of 10. So for someone who has hypertension, like I mentioned earlier, I will advise that you stay away from anything that has caffeine, which includes
Mm.
your coffee, and the rest of them. I will advise you go on hibiscus tea. I'm sure that is everywhere in the market. You know what the hibiscus is? That's what they use in making zobo. So instead of taking your top tea and the rest of them, you can go on hibiscus tea. But if you are okay and it's just cancer you're dealing with, I do not think that top tea would be a problem. Then that of milk, we talk of milk. Milk is a great source of protein. So milk is encouraged. However, for someone that have lactose intolerance or
Yeah.
someone that have some level of colorectal cancer, that have to do with the stomach, have to do with the acidity of the stomach and all, we can reduce or limit the person from taking milk. But of course, this depends on the type of cancer you're dealing with. I don't know if I've answered you. There's nothing wrong with milk.
Yes, so thank you so much for answering that question. You've answered all our questions, and I believe we all understood your answers. And some myth has been debunked this night, and some matters, cases have been settled in the minds of our audience. Thank you so much for that beautiful session, sir. Um, I've just shared a link with us in the chat box, and it's the link to a brief quiz that we'll be having shortly. So just a very brief quiz that we'll be having. So kindly click on the link and uh, would begin. I'll give us 1 minute to set it up on our browsers. So I want to see your comments. If you are ready, can you type "I'm ready"? Can you type "I am ready"? So click on this link. It's in the chat box. You can access it. Okay, I can see someone saying "I'm ready." Can I see more people saying "I'm ready"? Can I see your hands? Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Can we see more? Can we see more? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, yes. God bless you, Dietitian. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, yes. So let's go. And I'll be counting from 1 to 3, and then on the count of 3, we start. 1, 2, 3, go. You have 20 seconds to answer each questions. Question 1 completed. Thank you. Okay, let's see the answer. Which of the following is not a risk factor? Uh, Many people, 4 people says eat more plant-based food. And one person say drink only water to meet your calorie requirements. So apparently number 1 is the correct answer. So sorry for those that picked the wrong answer. So we now know it. Eating more plant-based food is not a risk factor to cancer. I believe dietitian Charles made mention of it. So let's go quickly to the second question. And we start on the count of 3. 1, 2, and 3. So we have 20 seconds to answer this question. let's join in. Only 5 people answered the first. So kindly go to the link, click on the link and answer the questions. Thank you. Thank you. 3, 2, 1, done. Okay, more answers. Which of the following is not a tip for healthy living? 4 people says tobacco use. One person said hypertension, one person said obesity, and 3 people said infection. So which of the following is not a tip for healthy living is hypertension? The answer is hypertension. Yes. So let's go quickly to the third, I think the final question. So in 3, 2, 1, go. Let's go. So 20 more seconds to go. Which of the following is not the blood building nutrients? 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, we have more correct answers here. Number one says vitamin C, and 5 people answered it correctly. Nobody pointed at protein. We have 4 that says nuts, and 1 person said legumes. So thank you so much. Can we see our score? Administrator, can we see our scores? All right, so while she's working on the screen, I would be handing over to our host in person of Modupe. Thank you so much for having this beautiful session with us.
Thank you very much, everyone. I hope we enjoyed that little exercise. I know that we've had an amazing time with our dietitian, and then we also had the question and answer. We also wanted to have a little session where we evaluated what we learned. And just to actually mention that this exercise was looking at 3 things. So the first one was actually looking at what is not a risk factor. And I would just like to mention that there was a little bit of mix-up earlier. So for which of the following is not a risk factor, I would like to say that the answers were supposed to be hypertension, obesity. And so for that one, what we wanted to just point out is that hypertension is not a risk factor. And then for the second one was looking at the tips of healthy eating. If you were here from the beginning, you would remember that our dietitian took his time to go over the tips and strategies. So that's also what he wanted to remind us about, if you remember those tips and strategies. And then the last one was looking at nutrients. And you would remember that our dietitian talked about proteins and vitamins, and that was just to look at it. So at this point, I would like to go into the announcement. I would like to say a big, big thank you to everyone who took their time out to join this webinar. It has been an amazing time with us as we got to better understand the role of nutrition in breast cancer management. Remember, this is the brand webinar, and we are so happy that you joined it. Please don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms on Instagram as well as on LinkedIn. On Instagram, you can find us using the handle Uncle Paddy app. On LinkedIn, you can find us on Uncle Paddy Tech. Most importantly, if you know any other woman newly diagnosed with breast cancer who has her histology report, please tell her about the brand program. There is so much she gets to benefit, such as this webinar, such as the free immunohistochemistry testing, such as our virtual consultation with our dietitian, and also our psychologist. And we also have educational resources like videos that you can watch to better understand breast cancer. At this point, I say thank you so much for joining, and do have a lovely evening, everyone.
So
Good night.
thank you so much for joining, everyone. Just a quick message for those that are interested in joining in signing up on the ProScare app. Please reach out to any member of our team, or you reach out to us via this email address info@unclepadi.com. I'll be typing it in the chat box. info@unclepadi.com. For any questions that you would love to ask, please kindly reach out to us via that mail. Thank you and have a lovely night rest. And for the person asking a question in the Q&A section, we'll reach out to you. Our dietitian will reach out to you. So please, can you send me a direct message using this link, or you go to this, you send your message to this email address, and then our dietitian will reach out to you to answer your question. So sorry we could not take the question during this session. So please copy the email address there and reach out to us. Thank you.